I had to take everything that I had for today and wipe it off to the side. So on Monday, when some videos were like, hey, it'll be uploaded Monday. Yeah, we had to move around some things because I have discussions today. So, the first Link 6, I thought Link 5 was ridiculous. Dark Fluid and the other monster from the anime. By the way, spoilers inbound for this. So, buckle up, kids. We're going to talk about the first Link 6. And this card is broken. Let's dig into this, shall we? The first official Link 6 to grace the anime. And by the way, for those of you that haven't been keeping up with the anime, Vrains ends at 120. I'm actually massively saddened by this. But the first Link 6, the arrival Cyberse Ignister, has graced us with his presence, and I'd just like to take this time to say this card's probably going to be a promo when it comes to the game, and this card is broken for what it is. If this card ever touches the game, this is going to be troublesome, because I'm not going to be the first one to tell you. The summoning conditions on this are absurdly easy. So it's Link 6, so you're going to have a dedication of, well, multiple Link monsters, and of course, or 6 monsters. So automatically straight good luck with that. Our summoning conditions for this are 2+ monsters with 1500 or more attack that have different attributes. So automatically out of the floodgate, we're kind of set in on, well, some really interesting conditions here. They don't want us using little monsters for this, which I understand, alright? That's generically, that's a good failsafe. And the monsters have to have different attributes to make this. So basically, whatever you're slapping together to make this bad boy, you're going to have to be using different things. But sticking 2 Link 3s on the field with different types, or excuse me, different attributes, that seems pretty easy to me to get the base level investment out of this guy. So at least for summoning conditions, okay, we're pretty balanced out of the floodgate. And then the original attack of this card becomes 1000 times the number of Link materials used this card's Link summon. So the downside to this is, if I want to make this 6000 attack, we're going to have to use 6 different attributes. Okay? If we want to make this 2000, 2 Link 3s. If we want to make this 3000, well, you know, we need to have 3 Link 2s, like, or a combination of like a Link 4, a Link 2. You see what we're getting at here, like basically combining kind of the cool Orca. Oh wait, same attributes. Oof. But in terms of its summoning condition, yeah, you get at least a 2k beater, I think, for the minimum real value out of this, which for a Link 6 you're probably like, ugh, that's pretty okay. This card gains 1000 attack for each card you control. It doesn't state except for itself, which is automatically interesting. So if we use the base 2 Link 3s to make this, then it will have 3000 attack, because it keeps the number of materials, and it continuously has 1000 off of itself, which is very interesting. So if you use those 6 different attributes to make this, this thing will be sitting at 7000 minimally, which is pretty, why? Alright, like, I understand, like, it's a Link 6, like, this has to be the boss monster, your go-to, right? Like, that's literally what you would use it for. So I understand for all intents and purposes, yeah, that's fine. So we understand that we're getting that extra 1000 boost on top of this. Now here's where it starts getting hot. So once per turn, you can place 1 counter on this card, okay? While this card has a counter, it is unaffected by other card effects. Just while we have the counter. By the way, nothing on this card removes that counter. So you can keep putting counters on this card. And yes, for those of you that are about to ask if token cleaners, clean off tokens off of cards that aren't affected, it directly affects the tokens, not the cards themselves. So yeah, while this card is huge for being just unaffected while it has a counter, like, you can just keep putting more and more counters on this thing every single turn. Alright, like, who doesn't love a 3,000 monster that's unaffected by your opponent's card effects? That's a generic Link 6. Huh, that's pretty cool. And then once per turn, you can target one monster on the field and destroy it. And if you do, you get to special summon one Ignister token, which is Dark Cyberse, level 1, attack 0, and defense 0 to a zone that this guy points to. So, I just get to put as many counters on this thing as I want for free. I get to once per turn destroy something. So by the way, that's not, as far as we've seen, that is not a quick effect, ladies and gentlemen. We are pretty balanced, because if I was able to make a generic Link 6 with 3,000 attack that is immune to, is basically a towers, at this point that could continuously pop something on the opponent's turn, holy moly, alright, like, I'd cry myself to sleep, actually. So, that's a balancing factor to this guy. So, that is everything that our friend actually does. So, let's talk about really the pros and cons of this when we get this. First up, the summoning conditions are pretty balanced, in my opinion. Like I was saying earlier in the video, 1,500 more attack, Link 6, it's not that hard to accomplish. The different attributes thing is how we balance this card. In-house decks like Salamangreat, things like that, you're going to have to go to other monsters instead of making this. And only, I think, in competitive Yu-Gi-Oh!, only the real combo decks that make multiples, I mean like a huge amount of monsters, are going to be able to make this. Had we had this in Goki format, oh my, like, think about that, guys. Like, it would have been crazy. And another big thing about this card is we don't actually have the Judgment Arrows printed yet. The card that terraformed your magic, or your back row spells and traps into those link zones. We don't have that yet. And I'm sure at some point we will actually get that, but not just yet. So, like I said, summoning conditions are pretty balanced, at least in my opinion, for competitive. There will be a way to break this card. There's no doubt in my mind that we won't find a way to do this. The 1,000 times the number of link materials used for this card's link summon, base stat-wise, this thing isn't bad. I think we start getting into the blurry area when we start gaining 1,000 attack for each card you control, because when you make that token next to it, you're also going to get a power off of the token. So think about just the sheer madness of power that you start building up because you're making these tokens. Now, being unaffected by other card effects, I mean, that's the scariest tax a boss monster can have, because Boral sorting, moving this thing, trying to get over this thing, there's going to be a whole schwafel just list of rulings to come with this. So that's the thing. But honestly, this card is fairly balanced for what I expected. You only get to destroy one monster on the field and make a token. Like, I don't know, that seems, for the investment for a Link 6, I don't know. That seems fair in a way. Like, you've gone this whole way to make this super big boss monster, and your return is, yeah, you're unaffected, but you can only pop one monster a turn. And yes, you do continuously get tokens, but what am I going to do? Make Lingaribos and Link Karibos all day? Like, I don't know, that's kind of interesting to me. So, overall, I think this card is nuts, honestly. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The thing that makes this card nuts is, well, it's a Link 6, and it gets to be unaffected by other card effects by putting a token on itself. But, good news is I can still sell him Strike this guy. You activate effect to put a counter on it. Strike. Link summon 6. Strike. Past turn 1, we probably won't be doing anything to this guy. But, you know, when I make my Link 6 and we crash, I can still get over your monster via battle. That's all that really matters to me. So, guys, what do you think of the arrival, Cyberse Ignister, the first Link 6 to grace the game? Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and, well, catch you guys on the flip side. Peace out. The ride never, well, truly ends. Thank you, patrons. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd be wearing in these videos. I might be a truffle shuffle incident all over again. Guys, please also check out Vancol40 for some awesome Vanguard content. Some other interesting stuff you might find up here on the left or in the description as well. Thanks for watching.